why would I not be able to use the CTMU or the principles contained within as a foundation for the metaphysical worldview?
Because I think it wouldn't necessarily lead to a personal God, and it would seem to fall into the trap of Platonism.
Why wouldn't it not necessitate a personal God just because it doesn't refer to Christianity?
Because Platonism doesn't require a personal God. There is no personal God.
The CTMU is not Platonic.
Well, I'm saying it could lead to that type of a mindset about, fundamental.
Yeah, I'm saying it's not. It doesn't. Source of God, unbound telesis, which is unbound potential. That's what God is.
Well, how do you know that's what God is?
God cannot be anything else.
Well, how do you know that?
Because of the impossibility of the counter.
Well, that actually doesn't justify that God is that just because you can't conceive of it of another way. That's a fallacy.
Could it be another way? What other possibility could
it doesn't matter because it's a fallacy to say that it's true because I can't conceive of it as to be another way.
No. I'm not saying it's true because I can't conceive. I'm saying it's true because there is no other contrary. There's
and I asked you how you knew that, and you said that I can't. There's no other way. Well, that's the position that you just said. What do you mean?
No. That's not the position that I said.
You said God is the ultimate reality.
I never said that God is mere actuality. There's a distinction between
I didn't say near.
Reality.
I said you said pure actuality.
No, pure. I never said pure actuality. I said ultimate reality. There's a distinction between pure actuality and ultimate reality. It could totally be the case that God is ultimate. We have to agree on the.
Why does that make? Why does that? Do you know what it means to?
For us to be able to
do you know what justification means? You're just stating your position. Do you know what justification?
Yeah, given reason behind why something is. Yeah.
Well, it's more. It's not just. I don't care what you're asking you. You're not going to answer this question.
No. I asked you about the CTMU actually in the beginning. I asked you.
Yeah, so you're here to defend that. Stop deflecting. You're deflecting.
Wait.
No, you're deflecting.
At the beginning.
Answer the. All right, you're either.
You're deflecting from my question.
All right, you're going.
For my question in real time.
You can't answer the Chisholm criteria. Guys, remember. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, can I talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so are you familiar with Chris Langen?
Who?
Christopher Langen.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was wondering with reference to your arguments about presuppositionalism and whatnot, why would I not be able to use the CTMU or the principles contained within as a foundation for the metaphysical worldview?
Because I think it wouldn't necessarily lead to a personal God, and it would seem to fall into the trap of Platonism.
Why wouldn't it not necessitate a personal God just because it doesn't refer to Christianity?
Because Platonism doesn't require a personal God. There is no personal God.
The CTMU is not Platonic.
Well, I'm saying it could lead to that type of a mindset about, fundamental.
Yeah, I'm saying it's not. It doesn't.
Well, it's not going to give us the Christian metaphysic, right?
Yeah, but why is that necessary in order for an account of let's say an epistemological foundation when there is a possibility of another epistemologial foundation such as the CTMU?
Okay, well, is it a personal God?
Yeah.
Okay, is he a all-knowing, all-powerful,
yes,
eternal God? Okay, is he Unitarian?
What do you mean by that? You would have to clarify.
So it's just that deity, right?
Yeah.
Okay, from all eternity?
Yeah.
Okay, so how does the created order come to be? Is it an emanation or a creation?
So the CTMU metaphysical view of God is basically the definition of God as that of ultimate reality. So this is something.
Yeah, but that's not telling me anything, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna connect it to that. So the CTMU has a principle called the reality principle, which basically means that there can exist nothing external to reality. So we're saying that the identification of reality, or the division of the limitation of reality we see as of now as physical objects and whatnot, is ultimately sourced back to a fundamental source of God, unbound telesis, which is unbound potential. That's what God is.
Well, how do you know that's what God is?
God cannot be anything else.
Well, how do you know that?
Because of the impossibility of the counter.
Well, that actually doesn't justify that God is that just because you can't conceive of it of another way. That's a fallacy.
Could it be another way? What other possibility could
it doesn't matter because it's a fallacy to say that it's true because I can't conceive of it to be another way.
No. I'm not saying it's true because I can't conceive. I'm saying it's true because there is no other contrary.
And I asked you how you knew that, and you said that I can't. There's no other way.
Wait, are you asking me
How do
I
you
can
know that?
justify
So
that
how do
God
you?
is the
I'm
ultimate
asking.
source of reality?
How do you know, in terms of epistemology, that this principle that you're starting with is the case?
The reality principle,
Any of the propositions that you just listed.
which was the reality principle. I'm
That one,
struggling
or
to
the
hear.
attending propositions that went along with it.
So at this point of the debate, my microphone cut out for some reason, so I had to leave and rejoin the debate couple minutes later. I do have to mention that I put in the captions because I was not able to intervene a lot of the time during the debate because, I mean, it's obviously his platform, right? So he's kind of incentivized to interrupt whatever he wants and kind of lead the pace of the conversation. But he did make a lot of mistakes. I mean, a lot of times he fundamentally does not understand the CTMU in any capacity. He assumed it was Platonic. And, you know, when I ask you something like, well, why couldn't I have the presuppositions set as to be the propositions of the CTMU or the principles of the CTMU? Maybe it could totally be the case that he did not know what the propositions of the CTMU was, and yet they aligned completely with tag. But he didn't, and he thought it was Platonic, which it wasn't. And then I asked him, well, what does that matter? It's not Platonic. What does that matter? He was like, oh, well, the problem is it's Platonic. I'm like, okay, it's not Platonic. Well, it's not Christian. It's like, okay, we're pivoting. But I mean, at multiple times in the debate, he just put words in my mouth. I mean, you're about to see it. It's about to come up. Yeah, I need a lot of fallacies that I wasn't able to call out, but yeah. For example, I mean, the straw man thing that he did when we were talking about the definition of God, and he was like, well, you're saying the definition of God is what you're saying it is necessarily because you think that you can't conceive of any other possibility, which is not what I said. I said there is no other possibility. It's not because I can't conceive of any other possibility. Like, we can conceptualize things, but they're not, though they would be contradictory with a state of affairs of reality within any logical system. And I mean, he does it throughout the debate numerous times where I don't know what it is. If he has a lot of things going on in his mind and just conflates what I'm saying with what he's thinking. Because, I mean, in the second part of the debate, what I'm about to show you, he says that I said God is pure actuality, which, I mean, I'm not editing the debate footage. Every single bit of it is unedited. I just took the part where I was first in the debate and the part where my mic cut out, and then when I re-entered the debate, none of it was, altered. And I have never, in the entirety of the debate, once said God is pure reality. And then, I mean, at the end, he spurgs out. But enjoy the watch.
Am I brought back in?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. So where were we? Sorry.
Right, so I had first an epistemic critique of how you would know that that is the case, and then also, secondly, God as pure actuality would lead to all kinds of metaphysical problems, typically the ones that we have where we critique the Roman Catholic position of absolute divine simplicity, and those would be defeaters for knowledge.
And wait, so would you specify that?
So the first one was the epistemic critique, where you said that
the second point that you brought up,
that if God is pure actuality, then it would be subject to the critiques that we make of the Roman Catholic position of absolute divine simplicity.
Well, all right, I don't see how that's relevant to my position, though.
Well, that's the position that you just said. What do you mean?
No, that's not the position that I said.
You said God is the ultimate reality.
I never said that God is mere actuality. There's a distinction between
I didn't
that
say
and ultimate
near.
Reality.
I said you said pure actuality.
No, pure. I never said pure actuality. I said ultimate reality. There's a distinction between pure actuality and ultimate reality. It could totally be the case that God is ultimate reality.
Okay, how do you know that? So you keep asserting all this stuff. So God is unactualized?
Wait, what?
God is unactualized?
No. God can be actualized and unactualized. Potential. Yeah.
Okay, how do you know this, though?
Well, I have it as a foundational presupposition.
And how do you know that how do you know that that's the correct foundational presupposition?
Because it makes for every axiomatic epistemological principle possible. It could not be nobody. So
we already addressed this.
Wait. Nobody could hold any epistemological foundations if it were not for if these truths were not necessarily the case.
Okay. How do you know that?
Because there is no possibility of reality outside
But how
of
do you
that.
know that? Or do you have omniscience?
Well, it's based on the definitions, right? I mean, how? Yeah, it's based on.
How do you know that
definitions.
you've chosen the right self-evident principles?
Based on the definitions that we have in common.
Okay, so definitions make it self-evident.
Well, yeah, that's how we use language.
Okay, that's not how epistemology works. No, that's not how that doesn't make it justified.
We have to agree on certain. We have to agree on the.
Why does that make? Why does that? Do you know what it means
to? For us to be able to
do you know what justification means? You're just stating your position. Do you know what justification?
Yeah, given reason behind why something is. Yeah.
Well, it's more. It's not just that. It's more than that. That's one element of justification. But how do you know that you've chosen the right ones? Because you have a form of foundationalism, right?
Yeah.
How do you know those are the right self-evident maxims?
Well, because if they were not the case, it would be impossible for me to communicate. It would be impossible for me to.
But all that tells
me to be situated within reality just as much as you would be.
All that no, you don't understand. That's why it still doesn't get your justification, because all that's saying is that it appears that it has to be that way.
Anybody could make this. Anybody could.
You're not even listening. We have. No, they can't, because you're missing the point. This illustrates why foundationalism is not true. Stop interrupting me, because the point is that it illustrates why foundationalism is not true. So I'm getting at something more fundamental than all your metaphysical assertions, which is that foundationalism isn't the case. Because you have axioms, and are you familiar with Chisholm's problem?
With what problem?
Chisholm's problem of criterion.
No.
Okay, so you have axioms that are self-evident, and then you have other things that are not, right?
Sure.
Okay. So how do you know you have the right criteria, which is prior to the sussing out of these two categories?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
How do you know you have the right criteria to suss out these two categories? And if you have that, which you just admitted that you do, then you have something that's more fundamental than the self-evident axioms, and therefore they're no longer self-evident.
It's self-referential. It's necessarily self-referential.
That's not answering Chisholm's criteria problem.
Well, how not?
You're just telling me the position again. How do you know that you have the right criteria to suss out?
Ultimately, at a certain point, that is what we have to do. It's just that we have to infer from
that's called being arbitrary. So you're just asserting. You're just being arbitrary. That's called being arbitrary.
Wait. I don't understand.
I'm sorry. It's not my fault.
Anything that you hold.
Again, you admitted that there's two categories. There's self-evident and non-self-evident.
I just understand how this is different from.
So there's a prior criteria. It doesn't matter. That's a tu quoque. We're talking about your position. You want to defend CTMU. You didn't come here to critique TAG. You came to defend CTMU. So I want to know how it solves.
I'm asking how.
I don't care what you're asking. You're not going to answer this question.
No. I asked you about the CTMU actually in the beginning. I asked you.
Yeah. So you're here to defend that. Stop deflecting. You're deflecting.
Wait.
No, you're deflecting.
At the beginning of
answer the. All right. You're either.
Deflecting from my question.
All right. You're going.
From my question in real time.
You can't answer the Chisholm criterion problem, so you're deflecting.
I asked you in the beginning.
Did you not? So I don't care. Did you not say?
Wait.
No, asked you, you're done. Goodbye. Jack, what's up?
So towards the end of the debate, I was trying to get a clarification because he said that I was committing a tu quoque fallacy. Because I was pointing out the impossibility of justification absent the capacity for justification, because that's what externality of justification implies. When he says, well, what is something that justifies justification or your capacity or your fundamental axioms or your foundational beliefs, right? And the foundational beliefs are necessarily that of logical inferences, that of logical systems and fundamental logical axioms, right? And there's no externality to that, because the very conception of justification is necessarily contained within that, which was what I was trying to point out. But it was hard to do when he was, shouting over me the entire time. And every time that I talked, for some reason, he interrupted and then proceeded to say that I was interrupting when he just got done interrupting me mid-sentence, which was funny. But yeah, that was the debate. It was a short interaction, but I enjoyed it, and a lot more is to come. A lot more CTMU videos, CTMU demonstrations and classes, and I'm about to collaborate with a lot of other CTMU content creators. We're going to be doing a lot of these debates. I'm about to do one hopefully soon with Andrew Wilson from The Crucible. Some of you might know him. And if you like the work, if you like the CTMU and you want to learn about the CTMU, understand from notes and pondering and pontification about the cognitive theoretic model of the universe, you can head over my Patreon and support me over there when I sacrifice my time and my grades for these videos. So, yeah, thanks for watching.